You know, I never thought I would find myself sat at 6 o'clock at night in my car, steaming it up like it's that scene out of the Titanic, having just run 5 miles with 4 more to go and then another 3 more to go with another break. Backyard ultras are weird. Anyway, welcome to my channel. I decided to finally pull my finger out and do this because I've been sat on it for far too long. And yes, it's low budget because this is filmed on my iPhone. Hang on. But genius here, forgot the SD card for the camera, so phone it is. Anyway, welcome to my channel. What better way to start documenting my road towards running 2 backyard ultras than right in the middle of probably the weirdest session I do every week, which involves me not waking my daughter up by making the dogs bark and sitting in my car looking like a weirdo in front of all of my neighbours. But here we are. So I thought I'd actually get into like why do this in the first place? Like why would anyone run a backyard ultra? A race with no distinct finish line where one person finishes and it's just the last person standing. And I'm pretty sure Phil Gore holds the record for this, which was 114 laps, which is wild. That's like, well, 114 hours is what? Nearly 5 days? Nearly 5 days of running. If you don't know what a backyard ultra is, you run a 6.7 something kilometre loop on the hour, every hour. And you just keep doing that, like I said, until there's one person left. Now, I ran a 55k in the Lake District last year, which was brilliant, loads of elevation. And then I ran 100k along the Northumberland coastline, which was amazing and was my first 100k. And I actually got a podium finish in that one. I was really, really pleased with that. Easily my best sporting achievement yet. After that, I was thinking about my next races. I actually had to pull out about 4 races at the start of this year because I had some tendonitis at the end of last year. I basically ended up having to pull out of 2 kind of half marathon trail races and a race up in Noidar. That was largely because I had to essentially redirect some finances for some family stuff that was more important, such as life. Now, at this point, I'd already entered the RedOn. Shout out to RedOn, because you can see, I'm actually wearing the RedOn undershorts, which are phenomenal, and the race socks and the race hat. I'm coached by RedOn, so yes, maybe I'm biased for that plug, but I'll drop the link down below. Go and visit their site because their tech gear is amazing. This worked out better in terms of potentially having one race to prepare for the next. So I thought, why not? Why not do it? So here I am at 6:05, about to get this down me really quickly so I can go and run another 6.5k. One thing I'm doing with this in particular when I'm doing these backyard sessions is trying to run the same loop to get used to that feeling, because it's as much about the psychology of running the same loop over and over again for indefinite number of hours as it is the actual running itself. That's me at nearly the halfway mark on this loop, and then I'm going to turn back, run exactly the same way that I came. You've got to get used to that repetitive nature of things with backyard ultras. And whilst I do apologise for the low light here, I just personally think running at this time of day is absolutely stunning. So I kind of feel like this is where it gets really weird with this sort of training, because now I'm sat in my car with a headlight on shining directly at me while my wife is in the house eating the chili I cooked. And yeah, I'm out here looking like a bit of a lemon, to be honest. I hope no neighbours walk past. Anyway, that's lap 2 done. And I thought I'd actually talk about why I'm doing this, because the idea of finding limits with endurance races, with endurance events, with endurance training is honestly something it's really interested me from years and years of hill walking before I even got into running. There was a time when I'd gone up to Skye with my dad to do the Coolin Ridge Traverse, and it became very evident that we were in for something that was a bit more than a nice stroll on the hill about 4 hours in. After having arrived at the end of the day instead of the start of the day before, climbed 5 hours up a mountain to sleep on top of the mountain. Got about 2 hours sleep because my dad forgot his mozzie net and was up all night slapping mozzies off his face and keeping me awake because he was very nearby. Sorry, Dad, I have to drop you in it. It was just an absolute scorcher of a day. And to be honest, we were probably a bit underprepared. But managed to push on and did the ridge in 12 hours from start to finish, which was a hell of a push. And I remember getting to the last bit of it on the last mountain, which I've done, I think, twice before. And our guide, Adrian, was like, oh, you don't need to clip in for this. And I kind of looked down at my hands and felt like they were moving around a bit too much, and looked over the edge and thought, I think I'm getting close to my limit here. Roped in for it anyway, finished the last hill, and I'd run out of water by this point. So it was another 40 minutes until we got down, very dehydrated. Very silly not bringing any more water, and had the first drink at the next point we could get any water, and it was like the first time I'd ever drunk water, and it was just this euphoric experience. And I think endurance sports bring you so many opportunities for that, but also just this kind of, however cliche it sounds, like it is cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, right? That you end up finding out stuff about yourself and having to ask yourself questions, and you know, you push the limits that you didn't know you had. And I'm interested in that. Like, I am interested in what I find when I run for as long as I physically can, and have to really kind of fight that battle in my head of like, you know, how long can I go before I really need to stop? And to be honest, going into these races, like, I don't have a distance in mind. I will just not quit in the chair. That's the only goal I have, is don't quit in the chair. Get as far as you can. Do not ring that bell unless it's because you couldn't finish a lap. So for me, that's already kind of set the tone of how they're going to go and what I'm going to experience. So that's exciting for me. Like, that's exciting for me. It's not that I'm running away from anything like, you know, the other cliche goes. I got into endurance sports because I like what that challenge brings me. And yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, neighbours are definitely staring at me now. Yeah, really, I'm really proud of what I've achieved so far. And, you know, for me, it's also about setting an example to, she's not old enough to understand, but my daughter, for when she grows up, I wanted to look back at pictures of me doing these races and go, you know, that's my dad. Like, that's wicked. Like, look how amazing that was. Why did he do that? That's crazy. Like, I want those cool stories. I want to be that guy in the pub who's in his 90s talking about the crazy races he's done. You know, I don't want to miss out on those stories. I don't want to think, oh, I wish I had if I had my time again, I'd definitely do them. Like, do them. Like, that's the way that I think about it. And, you know, for like, I'm also a coach myself. Like, I want my clients, and, you know, I want you watching this to see I'm a normal dude. Like, there's nothing inherently, you know, I've got no inherent talent when it comes to endurance sports. I was a heavier strength athlete for a long time. You know, I competed in powerlifting for 6 years and played front row and then second row in rugby for 10 years before that. You know, I'm not like some sort of natural talented fell runner. I didn't grow up in the Lake District. You know, I didn't run track or anything like that. You know, I picked up running late. You know, I really enjoy it, and it just so happens that it's probably the best sort of competitive sport that I've found for me. So I like finding limits, and in all honesty, I do think if it's on your mind, you should probably give it a go too, because you never know what you're going to find out about yourself. Anyway, I've got this really boring gel to have. These, by the way, these are the absolute goat. I'll be taking plenty of these to the Backyard Ultra. I'm actually going to do a separate video on what I'm going to do for fueling while I'm there, because I think that's interesting in and of itself. But anyway, I'm going to get this down me. It's not the most exciting of things, but it does the job. My plan on the day is to not have very many of these, but emergencies, you know. Anyway, get this down me. 6 more minutes rest, and then we're going to go run 5k. That's better quality, isn't it, eh? Anyway, job's a good one. Finished. And guess which Wally decided to not charge this after lending it to the absolute legend that is Sam Hallis when we ran the Pilgrims. I ran the 100k. He was doing the 100 miles. His torch had snapped by the time we got to Rothbury, where I finished. So I gave him this. I haven't charged this since September. Basically, it just ran out as I was going, but it's a cracking piece of kit. Pretty decent. I will be taking this to the Heart Soul and RedOn Backyard Ultras, but very pleasing. Knee is feeling good. It's feeling very good, all things considered. Weirdly, at the moment, strength work seems to be the thing that's bothering it the most, and not running. So chatting with my coach on Tuesday to see what's what, because I think we will be building up volume relatively considerably over the next couple of weeks and months, and I'm pretty sure volume will be building pretty high, and we're going to go through any sort of strategy for the first going into the second too, because I will also in 3 weeks time be running the Yorkshire Three Peaks with a client of mine and good friend Josh, so that'll be good fun. Ice in your drink for when you finish running. Unbelievable techers. Anyway, I'm going to shower and then eat, because I made a massive chili, and I'm going to get loads of carbs down me because I'm training again tomorrow morning. Luckily it's an erg session, but still probably going to be stiff, probably going to be hard to get going, so plenty of carbs down me tonight and an early night. And I guess I should officially welcome you to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I am excited to keep sharing all this prep with you for the various races I'll do in the next couple of months and going forward. I'll see you in the next video.